There's a wonderful old painting. You art historians in here might know it. It's called The Three Tasters. And The Three Tasters is a drawing that was made in ancient China of a barrel filled with vinegar. And there are three people tasting the vinegar with a cup. The first one is Confucius and Buddha. These were all contemporaries, by the way. Contemporaries living together at the same time on the same planet, and Lao Tzu. And Buddha takes a taste of it, and you can see that for him it is sour, because there are a lot of things that are sour in the world, and you have to really struggle and give up your desires and so on. So it's got this sour look on his face. As Confucius tastes it, it is bitter, because Confucius believed that the world is a bitter place and we need a lot of rules. We need etiquette. We need ways to tell people how they should conduct themselves. So he's got this bitter look. And Lao Tzu has taken a cupful of vinegar and tasted it, and it is sweet. And he's smiling and sweet, because Lao Tzu says that whatever comes your way is provided for, and it is all sweet if you process it that way. It's how you choose to process your world. One of the reasons that I've started writing children's books, got 3 of them now. Incredible You, Unstoppable Me, It's Not What You've Got. So Lao Tzu gave us a model in 81 verses, and it's not an accident that there's 81 verses in the Hua Hu Ching and the Tao Te Ching, and there's 18 verses in the Bhagavad Gita, also being written at the same time. And 18 in Hebrew means what? Life. 18. One infinite source. Infinite source once. 8, 1, 1, 8. 8 is a symbol of infinity. So in these 81 verses, he's offered that. But what he didn't do, and what I'm working on now in my heart, and I'm calling it Excuses Be Gone, a look at how to change thoughts that are established and things that you hang on to for all of your life. How do you change lifetime ingrained thinking? Like those of you who've been overweight and struggled with weight your whole life, that's not a weight problem, it's a thought problem. Those of you who have struggled with addictions for a lifetime can end them by reconnecting to the place of well-being from which you came. But that's it's too broad, it's too generic. You have to look at the ways that you have been thinking, especially when you've been thinking about, I can't attract into my life what I want, I can't have the right person in my life, I can't create the job that I would like to have. I can't do what I have a calling. I know I have a passion about something, but I can't seem to bring it into my life. When you shift all of that and begin to ask yourself the question, there's 7 of them. I don't have time to go into all of them, but the first of these 7 questions is to look at a thought that you have and to say to yourself, is it true? Is the thought true? And you're going to find out that virtually every thought that you have doesn't pass the test of whether it's true or not. That is, does it pass the veracity test? The veracity test is it true 100% of the time? Let's say the excuse or the thought is, it's going to be very difficult for me to change. It's going to take a long time for me to change. Those are 2 of the most common reasons that we have. It's not been my luck. I've never had those kind of experiences before, and so on. But if you can just take, it's going to be difficult, it's going to take a long time, and you've got some kind of something in your life that you haven't been able to change. And you ask yourself the question, is it true? Is it really true 100% of the time that it's going to be difficult? You have to say, let's see, and that it's going to take a long time. It's not 100% sure. And if it's not 100% sure, that means there's some opening there for it not being true. And if there's an opening for it not being true, it's not true, isn't it? If there's an opening for it not being true, it's not true. So, and if it's not true, the likelihood that it will take a short time and that it's going to be very easy is just as probable as it's going to take a long time and it's going to be difficult. So you begin to change that thought, and then you start saying what Byron Katie has taught me, which is to ask yourself the question, what would my life look like if I couldn't have the thought that it's going to be difficult for me to change? What if I couldn't have that thought? What would your life look like? Those of you who would like to create something in your life or overcome an addiction or lose the weight or whatever it is that you would like to have for yourself in your life, and you couldn't have the thought that it's going to be difficult and take a long time, what would your life look like? How would you feel? Just shout it out. How would you feel? Free. That's always the first word, free. What else? Happy, joyful, grateful. So now you have an option. There's a whole bunch of these. And all of them are on this like positive thing that we'd really like to have. Wouldn't we like to have happy, joyful, warm, free thoughts? To be free? And now you have this option. And you begin to examine this with every excuse you have in your life. And the option is, if I'm going to think a thought, and the thought that I'm going to think is not true, but it's going to make me overweight, unhappy, depressed, fearful, anxious, whatever it might be, and I have that choice, or I have the choice to think another thought, which is or is not true, but it will bring me freedom, warmth, joy, gentleness, happy, gratitude. It will bring me that. Why wouldn't I make that choice?